Hey, what's up, fam? Episode 6 of Volume 6 continues the quality run for, well, I guess Volume 6 of RWBY. We got a lot of really interesting stuff in this episode that obviously closing out of this little village bit that they're in of, being closed up in these houses during a blizzard, and a lot of the characters not being able to, kind of hold on to hope and kind of keep that passion and drive that they usually have within this place. The old woman whose name I actually have forgotten is just kind of like she finds this diary of the guy who owns the estate, who runs the whole place, and is kind of reading it through, and you can see all the characters throughout, kind of like right when they arrived at this place at the end of the last episode to pretty much the start, and as it goes through this episode of just that withering of how exactly they were feeling. Especially, I thought it had a heavy impact on Crow, and Crow already has an alcohol problem, so the way that's all set up, actually also tied in with his unlucky semblance. So he had all this stuff kind of piled on him, especially, and it was probably a lot harder for him for he's obviously being a bit of a loner at most times. Just kind of hitting him a lot closer to the belt, I'm guessing. Just did I say closer to the belt, lower than the? I don't know. There's some belts involved, but anyway, you see them kind of like wonder what the point of all this is. They know they can't kill Salem. It just seems pointless to them. Why are they just going around to gather up these things if they already were told that there's no way to kill her? I mean, they could still lock her up, build a super mega like underground prison, build one of these prisons like they have with the frickin' that they put the relics in. Put her in there. Put her inside of like a in the I'm trying to remember. I think the lamp was inside a little like pocket dimension or some shit. It was like in a well like a I kept trying to remember if it was like a little desert or something underneath a building. But once Ruby is thinking about dropping it in the well, she ends up getting spooked by some eyes that she sees down at the bottom. Drops it in, and like a lot of people are just like, yeah, whatever. And she just, no, I'm going in after it. And you see, find out what exactly it was with these Grimm called the apathy. The sketch that you see in the episode and in the guy's journal, I think it's scarier than the ones we got. Just that weird abstract look to them, I think is a lot spookier. But I like this. I'm all for giving certain Grimm like a power. These guys could like slowly drain away people's like will to do anything. We see at one point just Blake laid like on the ground, just not caring that point anymore, and just set to die, which I thought was like it was really cool for them to have some more of ability. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is the big dragon one that can make those pools that spawn more Grimm, which is pretty cool. But I thought they did a really good in this episode and in the last episode, like together, like making these guys really creepy, making this part more like a horror. And that's like I think that the creepiest part about these apathy Grimm is that they're long fingers, just those bony long fingers, and just the inhuman way they walk. Some of the faces they made at some points would look silly if you didn't see them move. You can just look at their face because they had the kind of like almost these big like crooked jaws and depending on the angle smiles. But when you see them moving and that's the way they are, it makes them all the creepier. And I thought that was pretty good on their part. And then we got some opening to more stuff that we've been wanting to get answered, as well as clearly it's going to happen more. We've gotten a lot of answers, obviously, kind of put out in so far this volume, and we got more in this one. I think the after volume 5, I think they listened to a lot of problems people had, and obviously one of them is not knowing shit about Ruby's eyes, and you could just hear her use it in this episode. The old lady knows how to kind of trigger them, and she ends up using it to kind of like disintegrate some of the Grimm, and makes me wonder like what degree it's going to be because we know the one where he's used against the Grim Dragon that instead froze it, but these ones that are known to be weak and just have that really strong power that they completely incinerated them. They were just kind of like dust. They're just ash themselves, which is pretty cool. And then it kind of was revealed that, well, not kind of was. It was revealed while reading through the binder journal that it was the the guy in charge of the little town, he went and captured two of them, lured them in, and then like wanted to keep them underground. That way he could use their abilities to kind of take the tension off a lot of people and end up like skimming money from paying huntsmen and huntresses to defend the village, to stay there, maybe fight some issues. But the rest of them that were in that pact kind of went and found it and just filled up underneath the town. And when that happened, all the people just kind of lost their will to do anything. They just laid in their beds and just, I'm guessing, starved or froze to death. Pretty intense stuff. Good stuff this episode, as well as opening up to now Ruby can find out stuff about her eyes. We can find out hopefully something about the Silver Eye people at some point in this arc. Doesn't have to be this arc, just the fact that it's there, and maybe we'll get some questions answered within the next episode, or anytime, at least something else in this arc, and at least make it so, next arc we'll probably find something. But so a few questions is all we really require. We don't need the full 100% fleshed out story of all the Silver Eye people. I think the fan base would be happy just finding out some stuff about them, like what exactly does the eye power do, the description. You don't have to tell us all the details. Just say like, oh, it does X thing to ghouls. No, ghouls. God, I've been talking to my friend Spider Side too much. To Grimm, and depending on how strong they are, it could either slow them, freeze them, kill them. Do whatever. And I think that'll be pretty cool once we get that bit out. But nice episode again. Like I said, this so far 6 episodes in. Volume 6 has easily been the best volume so far, the most consistent. If this could keep it up, I think it'll beat Volume 3, and we'll get there. It already has the spot, I think, with Episode 3 as the best episode so far in the series, when we saw that lore of of their world and finding all about Salem. But anyway, that's it for this one. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Check out my other videos, do mostly manga and anime stuff, and appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. Otherwise, thank you very much for listening.